0. Okay, I'm going to reconvene our regular session of Grande City Council. We've just had a brief departure from the airwaves to conduct an executive session, and we are back now to consider that discussion formally. It involves ratifying some collective bargaining agreements, and in fact, this will take 3 motions to get through, but we need to start with the staff report. Robert?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Lillard and members of the council. As we discussed in the executive session, the city has reached a tentative agreement with the Employees Association and the police union on new 3-year bargaining agreements. The city's management team also operates with a compensation and benefits program that we update at the same time that we update the collective bargaining agreements. And as full disclosure, my contract includes my being compensated based on that plan, but I don't take that into account as I look at the provisions in there from a process standpoint. The individuals that are covered by that of the management team will typically get together and have a conversation, and then they will submit to me essentially a request of things that they would like to see. I take a look at that, take a look at it from the perspective of how it meshes with the bargaining that we're doing with the 3 unions, and try to come up with something that is equitable, that makes sense, that I then present to the council for consideration and approval. So the first agreement that you have listed is between the city and the Employees Association. The Employees Association includes the Public Works, Parks, Recreation, Library, City Hall staff, and essentially the agreement calls for a cost of living increase of 2.5% in the first year, and then the years 2 and 3 is based on CPI, minimum of 1%, maximum of 3% for both years. There are also some additional positions in that bargaining group that we think the market for those positions is a little higher than what our salary is. So we're doing some additional increases in the out years of 1% to try to address those. And a lot of that goes back to a wage study that we did back in 2017. We're reclassifying a couple of positions, but we're not creating any new positions. The other thing that we added in this agreement is some language that talks about rest between shift during emergencies. This is primarily for our public works. We had some flooding events this year that we actually had a couple employees that worked 24 hours straight. And we want to make sure that to the extent that we can create some opportunities for people to get rest. And if we do have a situation where they're working 16 hours straight, we want to make sure that we can try to get them 8 hours of rest in between. And if not, we kind of have a cost sharing thing where we'll give them a little bit of additional compensation. They're on overtime already to cover that. And so that's pretty much the highlights for that one. And then Police Association, fairly similar, 2.5% COLA, and then years 2 and 3 are 2%, and we're doing some market adjustments there for the communication specialist and sergeant. And then we're also adding a shift differential for dispatchers working the night shift, and we're hoping that that'll help us with our retention and recruitment efforts. And then for the management group, it's a 2.75 COLA for the first year, and then years 2 and 3 are a CPI based minimum 1.25 and maximum of 3%. And the other thing that we added here was to create a little bit more separation when we have someone that's promoted currently. The minimum promotion increase is 5%. I want to move that to 7.5 for this group, because it's conceivable that we could have an employee with certifications and overtime ending up taking a pay cut to move into a management position. And so we want to make sure that we don't create that scenario. And so I think that's the main pieces. So any questions that you have on any of those, I'd be happy to answer for you.
Questions? Okay, looks like we can probably consider the first motion, which has to do with the agreement between the city and the City of LeGrande Employees Association.
So if I could interject, if you were comfortable, you could just make a single motion to approve all three if you wanted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
With that one, Robert, though, I'm going to have to excuse myself from motion 3.
Ah, good point.
I guess we're back to number 1.
Okay, I will move. I move that we accept. I move that we accept and that the city manager be authorized to execute the 3-year collective bargaining agreement between the City of LeGrande and the City of LeGrande Employee Associations as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other council discussion on that one? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Steve Clemens is absent excused. Corinne Dudo.
Yes.
Nicole Howard is absent excused. Gary Lillard.
Yes.
Marianne Miesner.
Yes.
Justin Rock.
Yes.
Jim Wetbeck.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That would take us to motion number 2. This one is between the city and the LeGrande Police Association. Any discussion on that one? I'd entertain a motion then.
I move that we accept and that the city manager be authorized to execute the 3-year collection bargaining agreement between the City of LeGrande and the LeGrande Police Association as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote.
Steve Clemens is absent excused. Corinne Dudo.
Yes.
Nicole Howard is absent excused. Gary Lillard.
Yes.
Marianne Miesner.
Yes.
Justin Rock.
Yes.
Jim Whitbeck.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, our last one then is the recommended changes to the management exempt and non-exempt employees benefit and compensation plan. Do we have a motion on that one?
I move that we accept the recommended changes to the management exempt and non-exempt employees benefit and compensation plan as presented.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any other discussion on that one?
I'm going to withdraw myself from any of the discussion because my relative is a employee of this part, so I will not be voting.
Okay, thank you. Kayla, I think we're ready for the vote.
Steve Clemens is absent excused. Corinne Dudo.
Yes.
Nicole Howard is absent excused. Gary Lillard.
Yes.
Marianne Miesner.
Yes.
Justin Rock has declared a conflict of interest. Jim Whitbeck.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Very good.
Thank
That's all
you.
three
And
votes.
if I could, I also wanted to thank Councilor Whitbeck for his excellent service on the city council and really appreciate the relationship and the work that you put in, and best of luck.
Thanks, Robert.
Absolutely. Before I adjourn tonight, I noticed looking in the fine print down here, it says the next regular session is on Monday, August 3rd. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay.
It has to do with the timing because of the ballot initiatives.
I got you. Okay.
Do we have any work sessions this month? I do see one on the.
I'm pretty sure we have a special session of the Urban Renewal Agency for the call for projects.
Yeah, but we have one on the 13th. It says targeted.
Yeah, there's one on July 13th for the Bonin Camp.
Okay.
I don't know. And then there is the special session on Wednesday, the 29th for the call for projects.
Yeah.
Do we have a lot of call for projects?
4.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, very good. Thank you all. Jim, good luck to you. We are adjourned.